back again. We're going to do another one of the missions, being Research and Rescue. Jurgen again is who I will use. He's the best solo, as I've said numerous times, but his satchel charge is an extra grenade and his special ability giving him 7 seconds of invincibility. Again, I'll go through the guns. It is the carbine rifle with explosive rounds, resourcefulness, and lead poisoning. You could swap out resourcefulness for weakness exploitation if you wanted to. I personally think that's a poor choice, but that is your only other option. And then with your SMG is what I would run secondary, with holster helper and weakness exploitation being the two major parts of that. And then you've got a free point that you might want to use on something else. So we'll go straight into Research and Rescue. It's harder at the moment because of the mutated raptors. I wouldn't be taking Thumper, that's because I was playing. You'd have shocks and mines. I think those are the two best, but that is a personal preference. So because you got to go to the 3 spots, typically I'll start at Ultim and you can check one relatively quickly, and then hope that the guys are there. Yeah, with Research and Rescue, it's probably one of the harder missions to complete even with people, because you do end up having to go into the cave at the research camp where you are trapped in there with Ankies spawning, and that can be hard when you first are playing. Seeing as I will be 5-starring, I'm just going to make sure that I gather up some of the easy objectives along the way. So you could call the scanner in, but there's no real point for A, because you can see from up here if it's here. If there was a ship there, then you would know that it's in that location, which you can tell from, well, you should have been able to tell that it wasn't. So rather than waste the time for the scanner to come down, it's just marginal seconds. Like it's not going to affect your gameplay that much, but it depends on if you feel like doing it or not. Up here, it's up the top. I believe the 4 eggs are here, and then you've got 2 and 2 just down the bottom. So your best spot is often up the top. There's always a good spot to I'm just going to go invisible to avoid any unnecessary damage here. There's always a more optimal spot to place your egg carrier in each of the for everyone that you can do, only because it's just quicker that way. It's only minor, like it's not that big of a deal, but if you're doing speed runs and the challenges that they sometimes have for the weekly events and things like that, it can be helpful to know things like that. I'm hoping that oh no, the Rex is actually there. Right, we will fight the Rex. I don't particularly want to, but while we're here, alright, so you'll start by setting up your location you want him to go. And then you can go invisible, sort yourself out, put him, you put him so that you can do that without taking damage. I didn't do that very well there. Because you want to be able to get it that you get your invisibility back up before he can attack you again. and that way you just... I'm not sure if it's really cheesing, seeing it's within the game. It kind of feels like cheesing, but the Rexes just aren't anything much after you've played for a while. So if you just go through a clear system, or a clear set of movements, that doesn't obviously work with any other of the heroes. Again, probably why it adds to Jurgen feeling really broken. Might as well do that while it's there. How did I miss that 3 times? Alright. So we do still have, we're still on our way to B to check that. We just got we got a little distracted by that Rex there. But with Research and Rescue, it's either one of the 3 different locations. I often will find it at A and B. I don't see it that often at C, but I don't run the mission often enough to give a clear indicator. Hopefully we see smoke in a sec and then we'll know that it's definitely at B. And if not, I've clearly lied and said that it wouldn't be at C, and it will end up being there. That sounds pretty standard to how this would work. Yeah, I'm not seeing smoke. When you are running around, hitting those eggs are always useful if you need materials. No, it's not at C. Because it should be right there. As I say, it's not often at C. Bang, at C. That's what I should say for everything. I don't often have $1 million. Will that work? Probably not. Well, it looks like we're running to C. I probably should have done a few other objectives along the way, just to make it easier to get 5-star at the end. The biggest thing people don't do is they don't jump. If you're not jumping, you're making it harder. I'm not even gonna bother. Yeah, if you keep jumping regularly, you will avoid more damage than you take. More damage than normal. Having the explosive rounds as well means you don't have to aim as well, which is always helpful for someone who is not typically a great aim on games. I do find that to be a very useful thing to have, just being able to shoot approximately, and as long as the dinos don't run too far past, they will get damaged by the AoE, which probably is not how the gun is intended to work, as it works like little mini grenades. There's a watcher that's always up there, just about. Actually, I hesitate to say always, because whenever I say always, they end up not being there. We're going to get these blue guys, which is what half this, the problem in this will be, is the fact that the blue guys are going to be around. Because it's a mutated event at the moment, which seems to happen a lot to Voltus. I don't know if that's intended, but it is Voltus that is getting stuck with the mutated raptor event, despite people doing it, or even the necrosis event in the last season. It was always at Voltus, despite however many people played, so it didn't seem to ever go away from Voltus. It would change out from some of the others, but Voltus was just always there. I don't know if that's deliberate or not. Obviously I'm not the game developer. And the thing that you're doing if you're playing solo, especially as Jurgen, is you're trying to build up your invisibility all the time. Like, you need your invisibility or you will fail. That's what makes it better than Rosie, because Rosie's prone to getting stun locked because she can't avoid being hit. Gosh, I just need these guys to go away. Typically you wouldn't still stay fighting. The only reason I'm still fighting is because I want to go through that tunnel there. But I also don't want to have these guys chasing me the whole way. I should have probably used a few grenades. That would have made more sense, but doesn't matter. So there are always tunnels that you can go through in order to go a quicker direction. This one will take you straight through. Okay, we're getting hit a fair bit by these blue boys, but that's okay. That's what I imagine this next part's going to make it hard to do solo, is that there will be the blue guys spawning in the other spot, in the research camp is. But as we go, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how we go. For this, you could just run and cut laps of this, of the ship, and as long as you stay going the same way, you can stay pretty safe as well. I know I've done a few pacifist runs where the aim was to not do damage, and the way I did a lot of that was just cutting laps to try and avoid it. That for a pacifist run, you definitely want to play Rosie though. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to keep building my invisibility up, so putting myself in a position where I can see what dinos are around that I could pop off quickly, and then going back into invis. The reason you would do that is because it's going to be a lot harder if you're trying to just take all the damage from them. So the more time you spend untargetable, the less damage you would take. I feel like that statement stands for itself. What I'm going to do is just go down to that camp to grab some equipment, because I'll heal myself up when I get down there. The fact you can jump through everything I think is really cool as well. So I could have got equipment at the campsite, at the camp coming up, but it's better to get it here so you have the other one for later when you come out of the cave, because inside the cave there's lots of ammo, but there's limited outside. Now what you will want to do is there's two watchers here, There'll be one around there somewhere, and there'll be one just up here. You typically want to remove them as quickly as you can. And then there'll also be the Anki to deal with. And at the moment the blue dinos as well. So you can try and use... Oh, that's not good. If I can't see where I'm going. Yeah, if you do try and use the environment to your advantage when possible. With this you'll have your 3 scanners that you need to charge up. I will almost always start at C and work my way back through, as opposed to starting at A and working your way into the mountain. You want to go out the mountain. I feel like that's fairly obvious as to why, but maybe it's not. And you want to remove, obviously, Anki's. Okay. Alright, that's removed. This will be interesting. I can already feel this is going to be interesting. There's ammo at this one just there. There's also lots at B. I'm already on only 1 health, but that's okay. I don't want to go too far away from the scanner, but I also don't want to put myself too poorly in a bad spot either. The bonus with the explosive round as well is it will do damage underneath the Anki, and that's the key part. Wherever these hollows come out, you want to get rid of them quickly, especially in this cave. I thought there was a hollow over here. No, just an Anki. Should. Yep. Yeah, so I'm actually having to go a lot slower than I typically would. Obviously, the mutated raptors make a huge difference at the moment. I think I was watching someone do this the other day and they were wiping in 3s. That's alright. Yeah, the key part you want is as soon as those hollows are up, they are down, is what you want to be doing. There should be another one that'll pop up around here somewhere. Once he goes purple, that's when you want to slam him with your SMG. Because we've done that one as well, and we're right near all of the ammo and equipment, we can grab all of that and then go on to the next one. Yeah, once purple, then SMG, and it's a fairly straightforward path. Yeah, when you're invisible as well, you can spend the time to heal, reload, reposition, which is something I talk about a lot. is that's what you're wanting to do. At the moment, having two of them is making it a little bit harder. I think there's two Ankies down there. It's hard to tell. Alright. Now that they're done, I'm just getting straight out. There's no need to hang around. Looks like we are going to be at 5-star by the end of this, just about. Given that we're already at 1700 points. 2100 points is obviously a sweet spot. And the mines I couldn't use when I'm inside. You can't use your mines or your thumper or anything that gets shot down from the ground. That's an Anki behind me. Yeah, I want to get in and out. I'm wasting too much time here. I ran into that. Alright. I'm just going to do this, and then that'll explode and give me my invis, hopefully. And then we just do the last part. And then we can deal with these Ankies when we're outside. And we can grab our last equipment. This is again why you would not have grabbed the equipment from there. You want to get rid of the hollows again. There's 3 of them that will spawn in this part. Just all around this this little dome, or this little camp, I guess. Gotta make sure I worry about the Anki that'll be charging at me if I don't go invis. I didn't go invis like I thought I had. Again, you're trying to avoid taking big chunks like what that guy just did to me. And it's always just moving around, assessing where you are. Okay. Now, because I'm literally at 5-star, I'm just going to go to a green zone, which is just up there, rather than fighting through a red zone lot of waves. Because again, especially at the end of a mission, you don't want to be making it harder for yourself than you need to. And so in this situation, just running towards Ultim would make more sense than trying to fight all of these blue raptors. We're already going to get some at Ultim. Again, you hear the static and you try and do something about it. Whether that is whether that's jumping or just swerving as well sometimes works. Obviously we can't jump as well as these guys can. But if you hear that, that little clicking or a little trill, now we're going to avoid that because again we don't need the points. So if you don't need to, don't. It would be another. Thought I just crashed then. When it just lagged a little bit. Yeah, if you don't need to do an event or an activity, you shouldn't. You don't, because it's actually better for you just to keep running. Like, what do you achieve? A few extra research points. That's not what you're after. What you're after are the loot crates so that you can get the better stuff. You'll get better stuff from the bigger loot crates which will be more beneficial than the research. So again, removing the hollows in a timely fashion is really useful. Turning your head when they're about to do their stupid electric flash, that's also really helpful. And then we just wait. We are literally happy days. That's another one down. There you go. That's completing research and rescue. Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but there are certainly aspects of that one that can overwhelm. In particular, when you're in the caves with multiple Ankies and the blue dinos, that'll be your hardest part. Even in a team, it would still be quite difficult, I imagine, if you're not communicating. No skins, which doesn't, not fairly standard, and 24:30, so that's decent time as well, even with wasting time killing the Rex. Anyway, thanks for watching, and happy dino hunting.